Chapter 9. Summer Feet. Sunday morning. The window of her upper room framed a sky already lavender with the coming of the sun, the season giving the days an early start. It was the coolest part of the day, and Kenia wrapped herself in an oversized Oxford shirt she liked to lounge in and stepped outside in bare feet and sat with her coffee balanced on her knees. The feel of the grain of wood beneath the soles of her feet reminded her of summer days and summer feet, when her calluses grew tough from running along the creek in the woods behind her home, using fallen trees as balance beams, or crouching on cement sidewalks to chalk a finish line for a foot race among her siblings. The beginnings and ends of the course staggered in order to make the effort equitable. The beginnings of the social consciousness her parents had instilled in them. She was grateful for those long afternoons without structure, but the summer mornings in their household had been different. They would be up early to complete their chores, make their own breakfasts, then head to whatever lessons, French, Chinese, piano, drum, violin, that their mother had signed them up for. Chiazam had often taken advanced math classes, so by the time school started, he was taking classes 2 grades ahead of his peers. In junior high, he was already tutoring high school students. At lunchtime, she and her siblings would reconvene, Chinamere preparing a meal for them. Without their parents around, they could eat what they wanted, where they wanted, how they wanted, on the couch, slouched in a chair, their shoes on or off, their shirt tails untucked. It was their antidote to the structure enforced on them day after day. Kenia loved those lunch times, when the house was their own clubhouse. Once the meal was complete, the afternoon was theirs. The arrangement was a compromise between their parents. Their mother hated the idea of lazy, aimless, desultory summer days, doing nothing but forgetting their school lessons and falling behind. She would cite one study after another from peer-reviewed journals demonstrating that children lost many of their academic gains over the long summer break, a tradition tied to a more agrarian America way. She wanted them to exercise their minds. It was the only way to success. But her father, while agreeing, had wanted freedom for them too. He wanted them to experience the bucolic days he'd had in childhood, a childhood characterized by kola nuts, fufu, and kumquats, when shoes were for school and church and optional all other times. He prevailed on their mother, however, only by touting the peer-reviewed studies demonstrating the importance of children learning social-emotional skills through unstructured play. This won her over, but not without a wink from their father. He knew his wife. Upon returning home in the evenings, their mother would want to check the progress of their reading by looking to see if their bookmarks had been moved in their books and quizzing them on what they had read. By contrast, her father often just took their feet in his hands, running his thumb over their tough-as-wood soles. He would smile with approval and whisper, "Now, this is what an African child's foot should feel like." A woodpecker drilled away at a tree, somewhere adjacent to the Corrigans' property. Kenia watched a robin swoop down across the yard and alight on the railing of the back porch. For the first time, she noticed Earl sitting there, a mug of coffee cupped in his hands. He lifted his hand in a silent wave, Kenia feeling the mutual, unspoken understanding between them that they were both here to take in the stillness of Sunday morning, waking up in the company of their thoughts, but not words. She raised her own mug as if in a toast to Earl, then turned back to tracking a squirrel's progress onto the branch of an elm and a chipmunk's explorations out from beneath the woodpile while the woodpecker's tap, tap, tap continued to echo. She walked to the library museum, arriving at 10 after 7. The sign on the window read, "Closed," but when she knocked, Octavian answered, opening the door with a smirk. "Morning, young lady. If you're not 5 minutes early." "You're late," she finished. Octavian was dressed in what appeared to be cotton painting pants and a short-sleeved shirt that said Selah University, founded 1905. A torch and a sword crossed behind a shield, where a Latin inscription read, Scientia, Sapientia, et fortitudine pugnemus pro libertate. With knowledge, wisdom, and courage, let us fight for freedom, she translated, remembering what she could from 2 years of high school Latin. And you translated the subjunctive properly, Octavian said. My Latin teacher, Mrs. Jones, would be proud. If you look closely, you can see the Ashanti symbols on the sword and torch handle. On inspection, she realized what she had taken for shading were indeed Andikra symbols. Boame Name Moa, cooperation and interdependence. Nyan Sapo, wisdom and intelligence. Sankofa, learn from the past. And Wawa Aba, perseverance and toughness. Not bad for founding principles, she said. Do you get down wearing a shirt for a university that no longer exists? Absolutely not. I'm keeping the spirit alive. Plus, I'm advertising. I usually sell a couple at the end of the tour. We should have your size. Right on. I'll have to get one for me and one for my friend Audrey, she said, following him into the library side of the house. Octavian stepped behind the checkout desk without turning on the computer. Instead, he drew out a binder, unlocking the rings and pulling out a series of forms for her to sign. They included a release acknowledging that she understood the risks of entering a restricted zone and that she could not hold the town of Selah Station, the museum, or the tour guide, Octavian, liable. She signed one after another, as well as a sheet printed front and back, listing the symptoms for chlorofluorine poisoning for which she should immediately seek medical treatment. She slid them back. Not sure if my mother would approve or not. It's only out of an abundance of caution, Octavian said, repeating the phrase from the day before, the words themselves incongruous with his light tone. Sure. He tucked the signed pages into a different folder and produced an 11 by 8.5 printout. This with a map of the Selah Station city center on one side, and on the other a closer view of the university campus. Octavian set the page down on the counter and drew a line from the Selah Branch Bridge to the cigar-shaped island using a pink highlighter, tracing a path southeast into the area of the campus and around a rectangular section labeled the Quad. Now the fun stuff, he said. We'll walk to the center of the old town, see the town square, then head over to the campus. Then we'll tour some of the grounds that give us a good view of the buildings. No entering them, though. They are not structurally sound. At least that's what the insurance companies think. Then we'll return back the way we came. She noted the tour did not take them to the site of the coal processing plant on the north end of the island and asked why. Too dangerous. Wreckage and contaminants. Not much left to see there, he said. Can we go there anyway? Octavian's eyes behind his wire frames did not meet her own. He capped the highlighter and placed it in the cup, its end tapping the bottom. Well, the area was cordoned off right after the disaster. People lost their lives there, but it was always considered too dangerous to even enter for a recovery effort. Rescue was for survivors, recovery for corpses. Are there still remains? She asked, her voice low. At this point, there is no telling. The place is considered a memorial ground, so to speak. To be honest, years ago, I saw a couple varmints, a fox or two, dragging old bones. I chased them off and gave the remains a proper burial. Have not seen anything like that in years. I imagine anything else has been given back to the earth. Kenya swallowed. She regretted even asking in the first place. I'm sorry. I'm fine just sticking to the town and campus. Plenty to see there, he said, sliding the map across the counter to her. Let's go then. The hazmat suits are in my car.